So I've just watched episode 12 of season 1 of Gotham. It's called What the Little Bird Told Him. The him is Falcone and the bird obviously is the penguin. Yes, finally, Falcone has learned of Mooney's plan. He's learned that Liza is a plant, and it's the penguin who has told him. Oswald has finally come clean with him. But yeah, very good episode, gotta say. I noticed straight away in the credits that we're back with Ben Edlund. Like I say, I've mentioned him in the past, just as far as his writing talent goes. I think he's a very good writer. And I'm glad they got him on this episode, because it is a really good one. A lot of stuff really comes up in this episode. Now, we do have some carryover from the previous episode. We've got the guy who broke out of Arkham, who I've said before, I've seen this series once before. I didn't remember him coming back so soon. I said at the end of last episode that I had a feeling he was going to come back because he got away. Yeah, didn't realise it'd be in the next episode. He's better here because they give him a bit more backstory, a bit more motivation. We learn a bit more about who he is and his ties to Maroney, and he goes after Maroney. And Gordon uses that essentially as a way to get back in. He's not on best terms with the commissioner, but he says he knows how to get this guy. He knows how he thinks. So the commissioner gives him 24 hours to catch him, which Gordon does, and he gets his badge back. But that allows for a lot of really good moments, particularly between Gordon and the commissioner, who Gordon is very antagonistic towards this guy, but also between Gordon and Bullock, as usual. As usual, I love Bullock in this episode, but even Gordon as well. Ben McKenzie does some really nice stuff performance-wise, I think, balancing comedy with who he is as a serious character. Without taking Gordon into the realms of slapstick or pushing that comedy stuff too far. He's able to do stuff with his mannerisms that get a laugh out of me in the right way. Is one look that he gives to Bullock when he goes off to see the commissioner, and the commissioner shouts Bullock over as well, kind of drags him into it, and Bullock's like, what the hell just happened? What's happening right now? And there's a look that Gordon gives on his face, and he just looks like a school child who's kind of been caught in the act or something. But yeah, that made me chuckle. So all that stuff I really loved. And then, like I say, Fish Mooney finally tries to go ahead with her plan to oust Falcone, and that's when Penguin steps in. Mooney abducts Liza, and she sets it up to try and blackmail Falcone, to run him out of town. Say, look, if you want to ever want to see Liza again, get out of town. Now, Falcone sees right through that. He sees that she's involved, but he still doesn't see that Liza is a plant until Penguin tells him. And I love his reaction to that, and he kills Liza. And it's quite brutal. He strangles her, and it lasts for quite a long time. And I'm glad they did that. I mean, I'm not really one for gratuitous violence, but I think the emotional punch that kind of hits you with has been a long time coming. We were right from the first episode. We've known that she's a plant from Fish Mooney, and so we've had that tension there of what's going to happen if and when Falcone finds out, and seeing his reaction, seeing how hurt he feels that Fish Mooney used his own mother against him, or the knowledge of his love for his own mother, and how he unleashes that wrath on Liza, and he wakes up to to what's going on around him and to the man he used to be, and he gets back that fire. It's not a fire we'd ever want to see in any man, but it is his fire. It's who he is or believes himself to be, and he's back with a vengeance, so it seems. I love the reaction from Fish Mooney as well when she realises that her plan is basically going tits up. She just, yeah, you can see she's about to grovel, but there's no way at this point that she's talking Falcone down at all. Some comical stuff with Oswald as well, Penguin. He tries to get out of a meeting with Maroni in order to go to Falcone, and he says it's for his mum. He says his mum's ill, and that's when the electrocutioner guy from the previous episode, he does something which puts Oswald unconscious. It kind of levels him out. But while he's in the back of an ambulance, he lucidly comes to and says, "I've got to go. I need to get to my meeting with Falcone." And instantly you're just like, "Oh, you're caught in the act." But yeah, later on, Maroni he confronts him on this, and Cobblepot, it seems, wins him over. I'm not buying that, to be honest. Like I said, I know I've seen this season before, but I can't remember a right lot about it. A lot of this seems fresh, and I can't remember if Maroni is just choosing to go along with Oswald right now. But if I was him, I wouldn't trust this guy as far as I could throw him. So if I have one criticism of the episode, it would probably be that scene. But like I say, it depends how it crops up later on in the season. But yeah, I wouldn't buy for a second that Maroni would let Oswald go like that. That he would just buy what he's spinning him. So yeah, I'm hoping that this is just the point at which Maroni has decided, actually, I can't trust this guy, but now I'm going to use him. So yeah. Also, we get some stuff with the Riddler, Edward Nygma, I should say. He's not quite the Riddler yet. And something kind of occurred to me during this episode with Nygma and his riddles, and how at this stage, I think I've grumbled a little bit in the past about how they throw these character traits onto these characters that we know are an aspect of who they will become, their villainous side, so to speak. And I think when we first met Nygma in that first episode, and the first thing he did was throw a riddle out, it kind of made me groan a bit. But I kind of think that now, watching this, actually, it makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't he be like that? Because at the age that he's at, he's a man in his early 30s. He has to have some of that within him, because you think about who he's going to become as the Riddler. You don't get to be a man in your 30s and then suddenly one day just change and be this guy who likes throwing riddles out. So that is an element that has to be in this character now, before he snaps. So I'm okay with that now. I'm okay with that side of him, and I am warming to the I forget his name, Corey, whatever it is. I'm rubbish with names, as you probably figured by now on these videos. I always forget the names, but Corey Michael Smith. I want to say Corey Michael Smith. Corey Michael Smith. I like his performance here. When I first watched the series, I thought he was over-egging it a bit, but now I'm starting to warm to his character, and I like this kind of attraction that he has to this co-worker. And in this episode, we get he does this bizarre riddle for her that doesn't go down too well. But then when he tries to kind of apologise for it, this other cop comes along and tells him to beat it, and it kind of makes you get on Nygma's side in that moment. But yeah, I like that scene. If there's one other thing besides the stuff with Maroni and Cobblepot that I would criticise, it's that for 2 episodes now, we've not had any Bruce or any Alfred, and I miss them. I feel it when they're not around. Thankfully, this episode was a damn good one, so it made up for them not being here. Whereas the episode before this, I did feel it a lot more because they are two of my favourite characters. So yeah, that's it. Like I say, really, really good episode, and the couple of criticisms I have are minor. I'm going to give this a 5. I think this is one of my favourites of the season so far. I love where it goes, and I love the fact that actually a lot of the stuff that they've been building to throughout the season has all come to a head in this episode. Oh, Zas as well. I will just also give props to the actor who plays Zas. I think he's really good here. He gets a few scenes with Falcone, and yeah, he's got crazy written all over him. This actor, the actor who plays Zas, and I think he does really well with the part. So yeah, I like his scenes in this episode. 5 out of 5 from me. Really good episode. And I've got to say, I'm just really enjoying this series at the moment. But what about you? What do you think of this episode? Comment below, let me know. And until next time, cracking.